Welcome everyone here to the Smash Sports Show right here on Smash FM here on a Saturday here in Melbourne. Of course, let's go to our friends over in Adelaide and of course speak to one of our ambassadors over there. Of course, she plays for Salisbury Inter, and of course they went straight through to the grand final. Of course, with a win last week. Her name's Chantelle. She joins us right now. Thanks, Chantelle, for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me again.
No worries. Well, firstly, congratulations on getting through to the grand final. Tell us a bit about the second semi-final match which got you there.
Yeah, thank you. We played against Comets. It was a very tough game. We beat them 2-0. So we had actually played Comets 2 weeks earlier in the cup final and lost in extra time 1-0. So we knew that it was going to be a tough game coming up against Comets all year. They're a great side. They won the minor premiership. So we knew that it was going to be a tough game going from the semi to get into the final. And the girls just rallied really well. Everyone played so well. People stepped up. It just kind of all came together, and we managed to get 2 goals in the back of the net and keep a solid defence and made it through. So it was a great game to be a part of, and hopefully that shows what's to come for the final.
What did the team learn from that cup final against the Comets, which you only lost in the penalty shootout, to not do in the second semi-final to advance?
To be honest, I think we knew that we have a strong defence. We knew that we had defended most of the game in the cup final against Comets. We knew that we needed to be a little bit more attacking and also be a little bit more composed on the ball. I think we were a bit panicked in the cup final when we had possession, and so we lost it really quickly and didn't give ourselves enough opportunity to win the game by scoring. So I think one thing that we definitely learnt for the semi-final, which we acted on really well, was the fact that in possession we were a little bit more composed, trusted it ourselves and each other a little bit more, and we were able to create more opportunities to score, which we capitalised on.
Last time the team played in the grand final was 2 years ago in 2021, which was the club's first grand final. Now,
yes.
Very similar road to how you got to the grand final, obviously winning the semi-final and had the week off. How do you feel about having the week off with no games this week?
Personally, I enjoy the break. I think it's a great time to recover and build into a final. I know not everyone feels that way, but I think it's just all about preparation and how your team builds into that. We, as a club, have sort of accounted for that in our training leading up to the final. So these last week and this week, we've taken certain measures to keep us going without burning us out too much, just to build nicely into the final.
The prelim finals on Sunday with Cons and NTC, which I'll ask that question shortly. But is the week off and obviously the longer break, how has the team managed that this past week?
So we brought in an extra training session this week, basically to try and replicate as if we would be playing a game. And we've just with our trainings, we've just tried to keep it consistent as it has been throughout the year, to try not to disrupt too much. So our normal training times, and then just add that extra training session as if to replace the game that we're missing out on, and just keep it consistent. Try and keep us in that same mindset that we have been.
2021, you were expected to win, which you did. This year, you're going into this year as underdogs. How does it feel now that you're advancing to the grand final? And I guess for most people, they still think, obviously, the team is still the underdogs. So going to the grand final, depending on who you verse in the grand final.
I think while there is people who have expectations of who's going to win and who's not going to win, as a grand final, at the end of the day, anybody can win. Grand finals, there's pressure. It's a different environment. There's always going to be more people there. The lead up to the game is different in terms of the timings of when you're going in and out for warm up, when you're going out onto the pitch. It's a whole different ball game. We've been there before. A lot of the girls have been in a final before. There's some that haven't, which is fine, but quite a few of us have been there before. So I think that will do us in good stead. The underdog status, some people really like it. Me personally, I don't mind. Either way, whether we're underdogs or not, I think it's just at the end of the day, it's a final. You go out there and as a team, you try and play your best and you do whatever it takes to win.
Mentioned 2-3 questions ago, the prelim final is tomorrow on Sunday. How do you feel about the two opponents in the prelim final, the Comets in NTC, and how have you fared against them throughout the season? The one you just mentioned about the Comets, which you lost in the Cup final.
We played NTC at first round of the finals and beat them, and that was actually the first time that we had beat them all year. So NTC were the only team leading into finals that we hadn't beaten. So they're a strong competition. They're really well put together this year. They've done really well. Their start of the year was amazing. I think it was the best start that they've had to a season that I've seen. They're a really strong group of girls. So they've shown consistently throughout the year that they're a good team and they're tough to beat and they can score goals consistently. And they've scored, I think, more goals against our team than any other team has. So we know what they're capable of. And they've shown that throughout the year. Comets, I think we've, aside from finals, I think that it's equal of wins and losses against them. We've come up against them a few times this year. So I think earlier in the year we fared better against them, and then as the year progressed, they started to get on top of us. But then we've obviously also got that advantage of beating them last week. So either team against each other, I think it's going to be an interesting competition. But regardless of who makes it through, I think the grand final is going to be a good one.
Will the team be heading to that prelim final tomorrow and scout your opponents, possible opponents?
I think some might not. Luckily, we also have the advantage of being able to watch it via stream as well.
Of course.
So depending on the weather, I think as well, because it's been quite chilly over here. So that might affect whether some people head out or just watch it on stream or what. But I'm sure most of us will be watching.
This year's a pretty different ladder than usually is, other than yourselves, who have been up there for quite a while. Is the competition getting better, especially on the sides that haven't made finals previously, and making it like an even competition instead of the typical, West Adelaide, Adelaide City making the finals yourselves? Is it getting better now and going to the evenness of the competition?
Yeah, I think so a little bit. I think the dynamic changed a little bit in terms of because of the A-League women's seasons as well, and those players joining in at clubs at different times and leaving clubs at different times. I think that changed the dynamic a little bit and made the competition a little bit more even. I also think that just in general, clubs are putting more time and effort into their women's programs, and that is showing in the league, and that's showing in the clubs that might not necessarily have been seen as the higher end clubs in previous years. If that dedication, that time that they're putting into their programs is starting to come through, which is awesome to see.
Has the Women's World Cup, which happened, obviously concluded probably midway through last month, has that helped in regarding to getting people more interested in getting out to the NPL women's games in the last couple of weeks, and especially hopefully getting girls more involved at especially there at Salisbury?
Definitely. I think that the Women's World Cup had a massive impact on our sport in general. I definitely have noticed large numbers coming out to our games. Obviously, it's in finals as well, so that's probably impacted it. But I think just the hype around the World Cup was such a benefit to our sport, especially in the women's side of it. And so I really hope that continues into next year as well, and encourages more people to get out and watch, get out and play, and just sort of realize what a great sport that we play.
Fantastic period after the World Cup. How do you think that's going to help, especially with the Matildas making all the way to the semi-finals this year?
Look, I think it would have inspired many a young girl, even young boys, to show them what they can be capable of with a little bit of dedication, a little bit of effort, a little bit of time, and just what a great sport soccer is. I think people would see the effort that the Matildas put in. They've got that never say die attitude. Everybody knows that. And I think that people will pick up on that and feed off that and learn from that and be able to use that same attitude themselves.
In your cup semi-finals, now you actually played up front and scored 2 goals. Is that me we could see in the final? And are you happy, enjoying being in front of goal? Be honest.
I love going up front. Anybody that knows me knows that I don't mind a cheeky hiatus up front as a striker. I doubt that I'll be put up front for the final. As much as I would enjoy that, I think that we'll stick to hopefully our winning formula that we had last week against Comets, or the week before against NTC. But you never know, depends on game situation. I might have to get in Tony's ear if we're getting down a bit and be like, hey, put me up front. You never know. But look, if I can contribute to the team in any way, whether that's as a centre back, whether that's as a striker, whatever it is, I will do it to my best ability to try and get that win for the girls.
Okay, let's just say scenario-wise, if you're up 2-0 or 3-0, will you get into his ears and go, let's, put me up front and put this game away?
No. If it's 2 or 3-0 up, I think I'll be staying cozy in that back line, just sitting next to Nicole and locking it down that way. So.
Oh, I tried. Yeah. I tried for you. I tried. For you just, as we mentioned in most of our interviews the past year, obviously you have come back from a major ACL injury. You haven't missed a game since. Do you feel stronger than before that injury?
Yes, without a doubt. My body's feeling great at the moment. My knee is feeling really strong. I put a lot of time and effort into my recovery, backed by my Ty's performance group and Josh over there. I had an amazing recovery, as you know, and as I've spoken about in terms of when I came back and everything that happened. And yes, I definitely feel stronger. I feel like I think I'm just over 13 months post-surgery now. And I feel like especially now I'm sort of just getting back into in performance-wise where I was before, but at a stronger point physically than what I was before. So it's kind of just, especially in the last couple of weeks, it's really felt like it's all come together, and I've been able to not just use my strength, but get that little bit better game sense as well.
Has that helped you in going to, injury management and like preventing the same injury again? Have you learned sort of things that to prevent that injury again?
Look, I think especially with ACLs, they're becoming so common in our sport, and There's people that I know who do a million things for injury prevention and have done multiple ACL injuries. There's people that I know who do no injury prevention and have never done their ACLs. I think it's one of those things that sometimes, especially as women and how we are physically, we're just susceptible to it sometimes. And I personally have been working as much as I can to keep myself fit and healthy in every way that I can. And so I don't know if I would say that I learnt specifically anything to prevent it from happening again, but I've definitely just been working on myself and getting into the gym and doing all the right things that I can just to be my best possible self.
Of course, we are happy to sponsor you again this year, which it's been an honour to be your sponsor. So has our sponsorship helped you with the injury, with gym work, recovery sessions, etc.?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, even just being able to get on and speak to you about my recovery and about my journey, and have those interviews with you and get it out there as well. I know that Josh at My Task Performance, he I think is one of the best in the business at dealing with ACL recoveries and injuries and things like that. And to be able to get that out to the general public through speaking to you about it and sort of normalize the injury a little bit more. Everybody makes it this big thing. It's season ending. It's all of these things, and they make it such a negative experience, which I think the mental side of it as well has such an impact on people's recovery.
Yeah.
And I think that people who have too much of a negative mindset can also hinder their recovery. So to be able to have that voice, that platform through you guys, I'm super appreciative and grateful for, to just be able to give people an insight of a different way to view things and also just that process that I went through
this year. And I want to ask this. Obviously, you won the premiership in 2021. Hopefully, you'll get there again this year in 2023 next week. Obviously, you don't know your opponent yet because obviously the prelim is playing tomorrow. Is this year's team better than last year's team, or is it very similar? And what are the differences between this year's team and the 2021 premiership team?
I think the teams that we have are very different this year compared to the year that we won in 2021. The style of game that we play is quite different. We have a lot younger and inexperienced team this year than compared to 2021. 2021, we had a wealth of experience across the whole pitch. We were so fortunate with the team that we had. This year, we don't have the same level of experience across the pitch, but we have different players who all add such valuable things to the team, and who are all capable of achieving the same success that we did in 2021 in the final. We've obviously got different coaches as well who play different styles of football, and I think are just a non-comparable really. Neither I would say is better or worse than the other. I really enjoyed playing under Kata and I really enjoy playing under Tony. They're both great coaches in their own respects and have taught me, and I've learned different things from both of them. So I don't think that it would be fair to compare the two sides because they were so different, but both sides that I've been a part of equally have every right to do well and achieve the same result in the final.
Two final ones before I let you go, and I'm glad you mentioned about your two coaches. Obviously, this year's coach and that premiership year in 2021. Those two coaches, are they the two best coaches that you've played under? Obviously, I know you don't disrespect your other coaches that you've played in the past, but are those two ranked highly to you?
Yeah, that's a big question. I have been very fortunate that I've played under some amazing coaches throughout my career. I think with the respect to both Simon and Tony, and the point that I'm at in my career now than previous coaches. They both just to allow me to play the style of game that I have learned to play from all my previous coaches and the way that I play, and they've been great at guiding me and just giving me little things. Being at the point of my career that I am, I feel like I want to continue to learn. I don't want to just be seen as a player who knows what they're doing and that's it. I want to still be pushed. I want to still be challenged and be told things that I am and am not doing well and things that I can do better. And both those coaches have been, I've respected a lot because they've been able to do that with me. So I guess I am very fortunate to have them at this point in my career, because I think that they have complemented me well and enabled me to continue to learn and be challenged at this point.
Finish with this last one. For everyone that should head out to your grand final, either against the Comets or NTC, obviously that's yet to be confirmed. We'll obviously all know that in just a little bit more than 24 hours. What will be your advice to get down there and support Salisbury in the grand final next week, which that's at Gepps Cross, I believe, again?
Yeah, so it's at Gepps Cross, 2:30 Saturday the 16th. Definitely, if you're free, get down, watch us play. We're a great group of girls. We've done really well all season. We've been really consistent. We love having people out there cheering for us. Just in general, regardless of who we play against, it's going to be a great game, great competition. And it definitely will be one you'll be sorry that you miss if you don't get out. So get out, cheer loud, enjoy the environment, enjoy the vibe. It'll be a good time.
Well, we wish we were there ourselves next week, Cam, but we've got commitments here in Victoria. But we are sending our love and our best wishes to you and your teammates for Saturday. Obviously, you won't know your opponent until Sunday afternoon. But best of luck. Hopefully it is a win, and hopefully at least revenge from that that cup final defeat a couple of weeks ago, and hopefully there's a premiership coming your way. Make it 2 and 3 years for Salisbury.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thank you again for having me on. Hopefully I get to speak to you again soon.
No worries. And that's Chantelle Ryder there, joins from the Salisbury Inter Women's National Premier League side. Of course, their grand final, as she mentioned, next Saturday, of course, against either Adelaide Comets or NTC, which that opponent will be decided tomorrow. There's more on the Smash Sports Show right after this. Don't go away here on the 10th year celebration.